And there the Danes. 2 from Copenhagen, the bowman, and the man sitting at 3. The other 2 from Bugsvoort. And again, as you can see, the boots that we've used all week for the regatta, technical problems, so they've been removed today. Who's your money on here, Hugh?
My money's on Denmark.
Well, I think the crowd might make a big difference to the United States for this time around. And Australia going out very quickly, along with the Germans on the far side. Denmark in their red and white. Australia at 48. The Danes just a little bit quicker. We'll have a look at the Irish now, who are closest to you on camera. Starting very positively, the Irish. They're at 44.5 strokes a minute. Just inside them, you can see the red and white of Canada. Then the United States further across. Then the green and gold of Australia.
These crews go off at a high sprint, and after about 3/4 of a minute or a minute, they begin to settle and find the rhythm that's going to carry them through the middle part of the course. But unfortunately, racing is so tough these days that after 750 or 800 meters, they're beginning to think about putting in extra pushes to try and keep up with the leaders or to break away if they're in that position.
Well, it's the Danes at the moment who are setting sail for home. They've got their bow in front of the rest of the pack, but there's really nothing in it at this stage. It's promised to be a close race, and I think that's what it's going to be. A really tough fight. They're going to have to dig deep, and it's all going to be about who wants it most.
Niels Henriksen in the bow of that Danish 4. You just saw him pass out of the picture there. He's the one who calls the shots, and over the course, as he come in close, you'll see him calling on to his crewmates, calling the pushes.
Yes, Denmark, who've won the World Championship in this boat class for the last 2 seasons. In fact, I should say they were second last year, but they won it the year before in 1994. So they've been thereabouts having a ding-dong battle with Italy, but they don't have to worry about Italy today. At the moment, the Danes really moving effectively. Here are the Canadians setting the rhythm there. It's Brian Peaker up front. Confirmation of the order at 500 meters, but that's history now. And it looked to us anyway that Denmark went through, but the Irish on the near side still well in contention.
I think this is early days for a sharp leader. Denmark will try to push into the front, but the others have stayed with them, and they'll be keeping their powder dry for a big move later on in the race.
Canada moving rather sweetly at the moment, nice and smooth, good blade work, nice harmony and good timing from the Canadian boat.
The Danes have been used to coming from behind, and I think they're going to have to against the Canadians this time.
37 strokes a minute for the Danes.
Canadians certainly look fairly effortless. They're obviously working extremely hard, but the easier you make it look, the better it usually goes.
Coming to the half distance, the Canadian bow just on the right of your screen there is the one that's leading the race at the moment, not by much, but it's going to get to the half distance first, ahead of the Danes, and then the Irish and the United States quite close together, and the Danes through at 38.5, and this is no picnic out there.
That's their race pace, and now they're going to pick it up and drive for the finish. They're only halfway, but they're already beginning their finishing sprint.
Americans have got to move themselves back into contention now. Can't afford to let the Danes go away, or indeed the Canadians. Huge rivalry with the Canadians, as you can imagine, and the Americans, big contingents of supporters here.
The Canadians are setting the pace now, and the others are going to have to keep up with it. I think the Danes are struggling a little bit to hold on to this. It's by no means over, but the Canadians has laid down a marker for the others to chase.
Canadians, it's a relatively experienced rowers, but relatively recent since they've all come together in this boat.
Oh no, they row in a squad, and they all winter they're in and out of this boat and that boat, and they won't have found it difficult to come together, and they're certainly showing some tremendous harmony at the moment. It's the United States in third position, just over Ireland. They're going to pick up a bit of noise as they get into the last 500 meters, and it should push them forwards. Canadians determined not to let the Danes come back. They know how dangerous the Danes are in the last part, but they've got 3/4 of a length here, and I think the Danes are going to find it very difficult to pull all of that back.
Yes, this is a very decisive move by Canada, but are they going to pay for it? The Americans are still on the premises, and are the Irish here. This could be a famous Irish day as well if they could grab a medal out of this. 1,500 metres completed, 480 or thereabouts now to go. And the Americans are digging deep, but the Canadians now are prepared to suffer outrageous pain if they can to hold on. But the Danes now have moved it up a notch. They've gone up a gear now, and Canada are being chased hard by the Danes, still coming down towards the 250-metre mark. United States and Ireland here. The Irish are going to find this really hard to stay with these. The Danes have put it up to 40 strokes a minute now and have got coverage with the Canadians, probably about half a length between the two as we speak now. Coming down to 250 metres. It's Canada at the moment trying to hold off the Danes, and Niels Henriksson looks over his shoulder there and he knows he's still got work to do. The Americans are length off the pace. The Irish just out of your picture. On the far side, Germany, who've never been at the races at the moment. Canada and Denmark bow to bow for these two crews, red and white, but which red and white will triumph? The Canadians really coming under the stick, and the Danes are going on now at 44 strokes a minute, and Denmark really trying to throw it down now to the Canadians. The Irish digging deep, looking for a bronze medal. The Americans trying to deny them. The Irish are out of your picture at the moment. The Danes now coming on. The Danes ahead of Canada. The Irish are 42 strokes a minute, trying to come back on the Americans, but they're not going to do it. The Danes, silver medalists last year, World Championships 94, are now the Olympic champions over Canada. The United States get bronze, Ireland an excellent fourth, and then Germany fifth, ahead of Australia, who finish in sixth spot.
That was the most extraordinary recovery by the Danish four. They were a length out of it with 500 metres to go, and they sliced through there at 44 strokes to the minute and took the Canadians on the line.